There are three data types that you should know in and out if you're working on data, be it a data engineer, data analyst, data architect, or data managers. Now, what these three data types are that you should be knowing, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into these three data types. We are going to cover in this video. And if you hang around till end, and if you want to learn and go deeper into data engineering and on the cloud, that involves both data analyst, data engineering, data scientist, and targeted for anyone who's working on data. Then towards end, I'm going to invite you for a free class where we take you into the journey. We'll give you complete roadmap and path to get certified data engineer on cloud, AWS cloud. We'll talk about that towards end. Now, this is a part of a multi-part video series on data where we talk everything. So this is the first part of that, our first video in that series. So let's look at the data types.
So see, we have a lot of different types of, again, data that comes under these type of normal data types. So we have structured data, we have semi-structured data, we have unstructured data. So what exactly it means when we talk about structured, semi-structured, or unstructured? So let us try to understand one by one what is basically structured. So a lot of you might have worked on structured data. So as the name suggests, structured means the data will have some kind of organization. These kind of data will have some kind of schema attached to it. Okay, so data that will have some kind of structure, or we can say schema. Okay, or maybe organized data. So these particular type of data can is called as structured data. The best example, so if you have ever worked on database, okay, so database, or specifically you can say RDBMS, that is. So when we talk about relational databases, so specifically, let us say any kind of like Oracle or MySQL. So these are the data that comes under structured databases. Okay? And in case you never worked on databases, so don't worry. I hope you might have seen Excel spreadsheets or CSV files. Yes. So you can just imagine a simple, sorry, Excel sheet. In that Excel sheet, your data is organized with respect to rows and columns. Okay. And we can say one particular row can be one record. Okay. And RCORD. So see, when we say Excel sheet, when we say database tables, when we say any CSV, that is comma separated value files, so normally they particular have records. Okay, so they're organized data. So these particular structured data is very again common, and you might have worked on a lot of relational databases that is basically storing your data in the form of records in rows and columns. Okay. Now, why or what is the biggest advantage of structured data? So biggest advantage I can sense is like you can very easily query that data. So again, why SQL is important? Okay, so SQL is important if you're going for data engineering, because we are now querying the data, we are now working on the data, we want to apply some logic, we want to apply some of the operations, we want to take some actions on the data. How to take that data is basically residing somewhere, and depending on your requirement, you can just take a lot of actions. So SQL can be one of the mode through which you are just doing some kind of actions on that data. So that SQL is very important. So query are nothing but simple commands that you are running on data. Okay, and you will get output as a result. Okay, so this is how structured data is organized. Now next part or next type can be semi-structured. So now what is semi-structured data? So as we know, like what is structured data, so semi-structured data is not fully organized and not fully structured. Okay, so we can say combination of both. Okay, data may have some level of structure, data may be organized at some level, and may not be, we can say, organized for some part. Okay, so this kind of structure comes under, we can say, semi-structured data. Now XML stands for extensible markup language. JSON stands for JavaScript object notation. So again, I'm highlighting these two things, and specifically I'm highlighting JSON. So the question is why? So again, we are talking about data engineering. So you may be working on data and you may be getting in output, or you may be inputting your data in the form of JSON. So this is again a very, very important part that you may have to understand. In case you have never worked on JSON, I request all of you, you can just go to Google and do some kind of research. For example, this can be very important for your further understanding. Let me just open my Chrome. So you can just go for a JSON tutorial, something like that. It is very, very easy. Okay. It may take not more than 20-30 minutes to understand, but this can be very, very important for data engineering topics. Okay. So please visit any kind of tutorial, whatever you like, and try to understand what is exactly JSON. We definitely will discuss more on this in the coming part, but to understand properly data engineering concept, you may be working with JSON type of data a lot of time. So JSON, XML, email data, your log files. Okay. So when we say log file, so we have a lot of logs in definitely IT. Logs are very common. For example, you may have login logs, you may have editing logs. So there are multiple logs. So these particular, so logs are very common and they may be of varied format. Some of the logs are standard format, some of the logs may follow any customized format. Okay. So now you can see we are saying log file. So we don't know which type of data will come in the logs, but we may have a specific format for this. So that's why it can be a very good example for a semi-structured data. Okay. So you can categorize some of the part of your data that will make it semi-structured. It can give you some flexibility than structured data. Like at some moment of time, it is very difficult for anybody to maintain the structure of data. Okay. We'll see the example when or how a particular unstructured data can be helpful and in which situation it is helpful. So we'll see that. So now I hope you got some basic understanding like what can be the semi-structured data. So we can have some kind of tags or some kind of categories to identify some of the part of your data. So we can make it as a semi-structured. So next is our unstructured data. Again, a very important type of data nowadays, nowadays, and one of the buzzing word in the market. I hope a lot of you might have heard about unstructured databases. Any form of data, definitely, that's 100% correct. Any form of data we can add into unstructured. But the question is why it is unstructured. Okay. Why? Why we are calling that particular data as unstructured? We can create a table and we can add files into the table using blob, if you are aware of that. We can add textual information in a table. Okay. So we can create structure in using this type of data. So we cannot say that it is a purely unstructured data. So let us first understand the meaning of unstructured data. So I just wanted every one of you to think that you are a software developer for, let us say, 5-10 minutes, or we can say, let's assume that you have the understanding of databases, because I'll take a very simple example. Let's just have discussion on Notepad. Okay. So I'm just giving a basic idea that which particular type of data can be unstructured, or what is the meaning of unstructured databases in general. Okay. No secret. So let us assume that you are designing a very simple e-commerce application. Okay. You can imagine Amazon.com type of application. So everybody knows what is e-commerce based application, e-commerce based website or web application. Now, now think like a developer, think like a database manager, we can say, or database administrator. So every type of e-commerce application may have one specific type of table called as product table. Yes, correct or not? Your e-commerce application will have a database table, product table, correct?
Yeah.
So definitely this is one of the table that you will be designing in database. Now let us try to add some data in this product table. Okay, let us have some. For example, you are uploading one product called as laptop in this particular table. So what can be the possible parameters of laptop? What can be the possible fields of laptop? Let us say you want to add screen size. Let us say you may have to add a particular RAM size. What is your hard disk capacity? So what can be the CPU capacity? Okay, so these kind of generalized fields or generalized parameters or attributes you may be adding with respect to laptop. Okay, now the question is like we have another product to be added in the product table. Let us say you want to upload the information about a keyboard product. So now the question is, will keyboard have screen size? Will keyboard have RAM, hard disk? Yes. So this is the difference. Okay. So definitely we have both the things like product, but we cannot upload the data in the same table. Means we cannot follow the same structure or schema. Okay. In our case, laptop is also one of the product that you may want to list in your databases, and keyboard is also one of the product that you may have to list in your databases. But at the same time, we cannot upload the table the data in the same table because the structure of each and every particular data will be very different. We cannot follow any specific schema. We cannot follow any particular structure. We cannot follow particular pattern. Okay. So how to upload or how to save this data? So again, JSON can be one of the we can say data storage technique that you can utilize, in which we can use key value pair to store the data. So we'll see in the future. Okay. So now I hope you got the idea that what can be unstructured data. Like due to this structure or due to this particular type of varied structure, we cannot query this particular data. That's why we are saying no SQL databases, because SQL cannot query the data with respect to some parameters, because parameters can be very different for each and every particular type of item, whatever you're storing. Okay. So maybe from various formats, the data may be from different types of sources, various formats, various types. Okay. Examples can be definitely text file without a fixed format, your video, audio files, image, email, or word processing document. You can now see that we have taken the example of an unstructured table or unstructured database. So we can incorporate a lot of the type of data in unstructured data. So these are the some specific types of data that you may use in data engineering. So right now, our scope is to understand what are the important, we can say basic stuff that we are using in data engineering. So these are the different keywords, or we can say different types of different concept that we may need in our data engineering.
Hey there, if you like this video and want to go deeper and become an expert in AWS data engineer, whether you're already working into data or new to data and would like to take your career to the next level, I would like to invite you for a free class that I'm doing where we'll talk everything about data and data engineering services on AWS Cloud, be it S3 Lakehouse, or it could be Athena, Glue, Kinesis, Firehose, databases, RDS, all type of data. And we're going to talk everything about data, including why you should be learning. And I'm going to give you my 3-step framework to go from a complete beginner to getting certified and getting a high paid job on cloud or in data engineering on cloud. So if you're interested, enter your go to this URL k21academy.com/AWS data 02, enter your name, email address, phone number, and click on register now. And I'll see you in the other side of this class. Well, that was data types, which is the structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data types. This is part one of a multi-part video series. In the next part, we are going to look at the properties of data. There are 5 V's. What those 5 V's are very important for you being as a data engineer, data analyst, or a data architect, or anyone working on data. So let's talk about that in part two, which we're going to come in next week. Now, if you have any questions, any doubts, or any other thing that you need with respect to career or any guidance, just leave them under comment section so that we can help and reply you. With that, this is Atul from team K21 Academy. I'll see you next week on another part, which is 5 V's of data.